Welcome everybody to Apple Insider. It is Andrew here, and I have been wearing my Apple Watch since the original one launched. But for the past few days, I've also been wearing this guy. This is the new Amazon Halo Band. It's an interesting little device. What makes this device really interesting is it is possibly the most invasive, the most personal device that Amazon has ever released. But is all of its invasiveness worth it? We'll talk about it in this video. Now, when I say the Halo Band is invasive, I'm not kidding. Between uploading photos of yourself in minimal clothing and literally listening to your voice the entire day, this thing gets real personal. But before we get into all those details, let's look just a little bit at the hardware. So the Halo Band isn't all that dissimilar from other fitness trackers that are out there. So you've got a band that's on the outside, it's adjustable via Velcro, you can swap out the bands for different colors and styles that more represent you, and you got the little fitness tracker itself kind of seated right there on the inside, kind of like a little half circle, slim kind of guy. There's a button and an LED light on one side that gives you a little bit of an indication of what's going on when you're putting it into pairing mode or charging or anything like that. On the bottom, you've got that optical heart rate sensor, and then there's a little 3 or 4 pins that are used for charging. This thing charges by putting it into what looks like a square chip clip with an Amazon logo and a USB cord on the other side. Clip it into that little charger, and boom, this thing will power up. Go ahead and strap it to your wrist, wear it around, and this thing will track your steps, your activities and workouts, as well as things like your sleep. And those are just your normal fitness tracker capabilities. But what makes the Halo unique is what also makes it incredibly invasive. So there are 2 big ones that we want to talk about, which is going to be your body percentage, your body makeup, your body composition, as well as your tone of your voice. So first we got to put this guy back on. So tone. We got our band on, and inside of the Halo app, there are 4 different panels. So there's activity, we look at that really quick. It gives you a breakdown, how active I've been, how many points that I've earned just based on the activity that I've done so far today. We've got sleep, it gives you a good sleep breakdown, your awake time, your time in bed, your REM sleep, deep sleep, light sleep, all of that. And then we have tone and body composition down here at the bottom. So if we go into tone, we can see a summary of our day so far. It's using a microphone that is on the Halo itself to listen to me as I talk, and then it will analyze my voice to determine how I'm sounding. It gives you a good idea of how you are sounding to others. Maybe you don't realize it and you're being really whiny, and this band is going to be able to tell you that. So it'll break your voice down between different groupings, I guess. So happy, energetic or excited, neutral, unhappy, anything like that. It'll also highlight notable moments. So conversations you had that were particularly heated, particularly happy, anything like that. It'll tell you how long they were and what happened. So apparently this morning at 9:20 a.m., I was very skeptical for about 1.2 seconds. I had one phrase that sounded skeptical and confused. Possibly why somebody wants to wear the Halo Band. I also had one this morning that was dismissive at 8:20 a.m. for 1.3 seconds. I had one phrase that sounded dismissive, uncomfortable, or stubborn. Yeah. So it gives you a good idea about that, and it breaks it down for you. So you can wait, what was I doing at that specific time? Why was I sounding like that? And if you look at your day and you've got a whole lot of little frowny faces and a whole lot of not happy faces, maybe that's a good indicator that you need to work on how you're presenting yourself to others. Now there is also, which is kind of cool, there's a live view of your conversation. So I can hit live mode and I can be talking about the new Amazon Halo Band and how really cool it is, the fact that it can track all of your stuff and put it into the app, and it'll show that I am elated, proud, and excited in this conversation. And when I stop recording it, it'll tell me that I sounded proud, elated, and confident in that conversation, and it pins that conversation. So theoretically, you could go have a conversation with someone, start that live mode before you go into that talk, and then afterward, look at how you sounded and how you came off. It's really interesting. We've seen stuff like this with text analyzation, with things like Grammarly, where it'll actually give you kind of a recommendation on your tone in whatever you've written, whether it's a social media post or a blog or a news article, anything like that. It can give you the tone of that. And Amazon is basically taking that as well as analyzing your voice to do it all here in the app with the Halo Band. But again, you have an Amazon microphone strapped to your wrist, listening to you all day. It'll also know your voice versus other voices. So it's only picking up what you say and not others. Basically, pick a quiet place and it'll have you read several excerpts from books to understand what is your voice versus other people's voices. And it'll listen for you throughout the day and not get picked up by things like your partner or the TV. The other aspect that is particularly invasive is body composition. We have seen different trackers handle body composition in different ways. There are things like scales that can use bioimpedance to measure your fat content, muscle content, water content, all of that inside of your body. And the Halo Band is doing it differently. So it's measuring biometrics on your skin, but it's also using your information, such as how tall you are, your gender, how much you weigh, and then it has you take a photo of yourself in minimal clothing, which is apparently just your skivvies, your underoos, your underwear, as little as possible, to take a picture of yourself to upload it in the app. And it'll give you like a 3D version of yourself and allow you to track your body composition over time. How many people want to do this? Not only are you strapping an Amazon microphone to your wrist and carrying it around all day, you're uploading shots of yourself to the Amazon app in minimal clothing. I'm sure that has practical effects and it's probably more accurate than ones that are just going off of your height and weight, but it just still seems terribly invasive that I don't see a lot of people really clamoring to do. Now, for what it's worth, you don't have to do it. You don't have to upload photos of yourself if you don't want to. You can stick with the fitness tracking and your sleep tracking, and you can stick with even the tone tracking, tone mapping or listening if you want to. And you don't have to do the photos, but it is just another kind of mildly creepy option that probably has very real practical purposes, but again, just feels so invasive in a fitness tracker. There's a lot that the Amazon Halo Band does right. I actually really like a lot of the features that it has. There's a lab tab that goes through a bunch of different ways to help you improve yourself. It can go ahead and help you be more mindful. It can teach you different exercises to work on. It can help you work on running longer. All these different kind of practical things that are pretty useful. I like that little subtle motivation and challenges that you can do to improve your well-being. I think that is really great. And the data they collect is pretty fantastic. I love how they're breaking down your activity and how you're bringing it through the day and what you're doing. And sleep is particularly nice. It has really great graphs in there, far more data than the Apple Watch is tracking. Whether or not this is accurate, I know there's a lot of debate on that, but it does give you a lot of information. It can even tell you how long it took you to fall asleep, how long you've been in bed, break everything down by time as well as percentages, and you can view all of those graphically within the app. It shows you disturbances that you have, your efficiency of your sleep. As you can see, I did not get a lot of sleep last night. Then there's also your temperature. It'll literally track your sleeping temperature throughout the night. This can measure your temperature over time as well. So a lot of really neat information in there. Tone, I think, is probably my favorite. This is a really cool way to learn more about yourself and put yourself in other people's shoes. How are you coming off? You may think you're an overly positive person, but when you go back and look at the data, it turns out that may not be the case. I think it's a really interesting piece of information, but it's still just hard to justify strapping an Amazon microphone to your wrist the entire day. It just really depends on how much you trust Amazon with that kind of private information. The other thing about the Halo is it does come with a monthly fee. I believe it's like $4 or so, and that's probably a good thing. The hardware itself is not that expensive, around 60 bucks. So if they're doing all of this stuff on a continued basis for free, there's likely a reason that Amazon is doing all that analytical and stuff on you for free. So the fact that you are paying $4 or so a month for the tone tracking, the body composition, and all of those things, it hopefully means that Amazon is not trying to profit off your data. But it's still Amazon. They still want to sell you things. They still want to sell you products. And it's still just, in my mind, I still just keep assuming that they're going to somehow try to take my data from this band and try to sell me new pairs of socks or new chargers or whatever it is that it thinks I'm talking about during the day. I know it's likely not happening, but it's still just one of those things that gets in your mind and makes you think about it. Anyway, guys, this is the Halo Tracker. We're going to be doing a full comparison with the Apple Watch and see which one of these guys kind of compares, how they stand up to each other. Let me know what you guys think. Are you comfortable snapping photos of yourself in your skivvies and uploading them to Amazon and strapping a microphone to your wrist, sending it to Jeff Bezos all day? Let me know on Twitter at Andrew_OSU. If you guys want to grab one for yourself, it is up for early ordering, pre-invites. There's a link down below in the description. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.